Billy Luther, who's Navajo, Hopi and Laguna Pueblo, is an award-winning documentary director and producer of the documentaries Miss Navajo and Grab. He is celebrating his newest film, Frybread Face and Me, which was executive produced by Taika Waititi and is premiering at the 2023 South by Southwest Film Festival. I had the pleasure of sitting down with Billy Luther, as well as actors Charley Hogan, who plays the adorable Navajo character Frybread Face, Martin Sensmeier, who plays Uncle Marvin, and Kahara Hodges, who plays Aunt Lucy.
This transition to narrative features was really natural, I felt. Having the documentary past the nonfiction side of my kind of experience was really kind of cool because it allowed me to, for instance, following the grandmother in the film Frybread Face. Mm-hmm. I just told my crew, my camera crew, let's just follow her, let's just observe her, in her world. Let's be in her world.
This heartwarming film's central theme is about two Navajo cousins, Benny, played by Keir Tallman, and Don, played by Charley Hogan, who both struggle to connect because Benny is unfamiliar with the traditions and language of his Navajo community.
Yeah, I think, when I've been, working with people in this film, I think there's just been this great kind of thread that it's not just the Native audiences that are connecting to this. These are people also who are from other languages, other cultures that kind of represent. I had a funder, say this was, really struck me because it was a language where my grandmother spoke, Portuguese, and I couldn't speak with her. I didn't, her whole life, so they didn't connect. So I think for me, it was, like we said, it's a personal story, but I think that our community can be hard at times for us not speaking the language, and especially when you try to speak it too, your aunties and uncles will be like, oh, you're not saying it, so you kind of like get you're kind of put down in a sense. So I just really wanted to have this moment between two cousins, kind of the same age, and being challenged with the language, but also he's seeing his cousin kind of like thrive, Dawn, in this world, thriving and connecting, and has this connection to her grandmother that is really strong, and it really shifts his summer.
The young actress Charley Hogan says playing a character steeped in tradition and Navajo language came naturally to her.
She, Frybread Face is a proud Navajo, as well as I am too. So it really was easy to relate to Frybread Face because as she is a proud Native, as I am too. The traditions were like very understanding, as well as I do on the reservation. And as grandma's referee, I'm always like that with my grandma too. So it really matched my lifestyle.
Yeah.
Really haven't done like film acting, but I've done theater, and it really
Martin, Kahara, Billy, do we all agree that she's a natural?
Yes.
Oh yeah.
Just a natural. You did an excellent job.
Thank you.
You should be proud.
Thank you really much.
You're welcome. Actor Martin Sensmeier, known for his work in such projects as Wind River, The Magnificent Seven, and 1883, kept it short and sweet regarding his character Uncle Marvin, saying, "Everyone has that a-hole uncle." It's a little bit new for you in the sense of you play a real jerk, but you do it well. I was like, he's natural shooting. And sometimes I was like, is this the real Martin Sensmeier?
I was excited to do it because I think every Native kid has an asshole uncle. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I just picked one of my uncles and kind of played him.
That one moment where Benny just jabs you with the spoon. I was like, go Benny.
Martin was good. He was like, really get me. He's like, really stab me with that spoon.
He did. On the flip side to Sensmeier's Uncle Marvin, Kahara Hodges plays the gregarious and cheerful Aunt Lucy.
For me, I kind of, as soon as I read the script, and I learned about Aunt Lucy and just kind of her role to the kids. It was there was a lot of parallels with Benny and his experience and, my own experience. And I'd go back to my grandma's house on the summer and we'd be there for a couple of weeks, me and my sister. And it was just like, we'd be all rezzed out and it was the best. We'd have to haul our buckets of water into the tub and we thought it was awesome. It was just a really amazing experience. And just for me, naturally, I came into this film after having a baby, like just a year before. So as a new mom and really like embodying this nurturing, loving energy, I felt like I was able to kind of bring that into my relationships with just all of the youth that I meet in general. And so I kind of just recognized the responsibility in being that tender, loving, silly but serious kind of auntie. And that's the kind of auntie that I am in real life. Auntie Lucy, she's kind of in between. She's living these two worlds, 'cause she's she's on like a res life, and then she's also like going to the city. She wants to be a makeup artist, a hairstylist. She's got these big dreams that aren't necessarily taking place on the res. So, and another thing with the hair too is we were thinking, are we going to straighten my hair for this role every day, or are we like, what should we do? And I asked Billy about doing curly hair just because I just imagined a cute little like Afro-Native little girl with curly hair who's like, seeing this on the big screen and just feeling seen.
Can we all agree with the ridiculous level of cuteness in the baby that laughed? Oh my God. I was like, that baby is cute.
Oh my gosh, I love that baby.
Really cute.
Oh my gosh.
She's in kindergarten now.
Oh my gosh, that baby's so cute. That was a cute baby. Director Billy Luther also discussed the complexities of youth, as well as his own life experience with his grandmother in relation to Sarah Natani's character in the film, Grandma Lorraine.
I think what was really really revealing for me as when I was writing this was, as kids, we are so perceptive of what's going on with our adults and our families. People think, oh, they're just kids, and they don't necessarily understand. So I remember being kids. I mean, I'm sure we all do, but we really knew what was happening, but we didn't talk about it. Yeah, my grandmother was a weaver throughout her life, and that was her livelihood, and that's what she did, for to make a living. It was one time that I actually witnessed her, going to the trading post and actually selling her rug. And that for me was just something that I just remember, like sitting in the back of the truck going back home after the transaction happened, and just how visual that was for me. And no questions were asked. I was just in a moment. And now, being in, an adult, I have all those questions now. Sarah Natani, who plays the grandmother, she is also a weaver on the res, a well-known weaver. She was telling me stories, her experiences, and also experiences from her relatives. So, I learned so much being on set just by our actors and, having, the kids there and grandmother. It was a moment. It was a moment that I really think that was really special for each of us. The family is really kind of who the people who shape us into the people that we will become.
While you guys are talking about this, it just really I'm just thinking, yes, we definitely have that uncle. We definitely have that aunt that is fun. We definitely have we like, me and my cousins would listen to adult conversations even though we're not allowed to, and we always gossip it to each other, like, did you hear this, did you hear that? They're like, oh my God. And here later on we'll go to the cool Aunt Lucy, and we'll be like, so any updates on anything? And here that cool aunt would just reveal everything.
You go to Aunt Lucy for the real story, because nobody else is going to tell you.
You know, I made this film because, as a kid, like many people in in this field who are storytellers, is you just didn't see yourself growing up. There was no films that I could watch that I could be like, oh my God, this is like I connect with it, I think, that's not the reason why I made it. It just came natural in the storytelling and what I was telling. And I think different people, different generations are going to take something different from it. I know when my parents see it, they'll have a different reaction than, let's say, my teenage cousins when they see it, and what's great about this story is I think that, it's not just for Native audiences. I think there's a global audience out there for this story that hasn't been told. And I was like trying to think of like other Native coming of age stories, and I can't find any, but I want, kids and, families to be able to watch this, and have a good time. Yeah, there's things in there that you can, talk about and have discussions about, but I think it's a fun film. I think what really resonated with the actors was we didn't have to do much homework because they also had that same, experiences with family and childhood and being, dropped off at your grandmother's for a few weeks or a couple months,
Right.
So I think that was really, special in terms of like how we all approached it.